Hello, my name is Jean, and I'm a severe traumatic brain injury survivor with lifetime retrograde amnesia. Right now, I'm in the middle of a 90-day challenge to reflect on my nearly 10 years of life as someone with this version of brain injury. So today is day 15. I'm technically reflecting year two and quarter two, and what's kind of hard and what I'm learning. So during this time, unfortunately, something that is happening is and it actually is something that affects me to this day, not so much personally me inside me, but something I'm aware of and can develop with time, but it's resentment. I'm learning about resentment and jealousy, basically. Not that I personally am feeling these yet, because that's not really how my emotional development works. But I was, in some ways, you could say I was fortunate, and that I learned that I basically was learning from other friends saying, like, I'm jealous of you, that XYZ. And when I think about that, that takes a lot of humility for a really close friend to tell me that they're jealous of my life. And it largely had to do with the fact that at the time, like the boyfriend that I alluded to in the last video was treating me super well. And also I was, pursuing, I guess, a career path that one of my friends was delayed and not receiving positive feedback about. But, that's kind of where neurodiversity comes in as a little bit of a negative, and that it's like I'm literally incapable of matching you or understanding or processing this particular feeling, even though you're articulating it to me, because I'm just not capable. And it kind of reminds me of something I didn't mention in one of my past video reflections, I don't think, but how I basically figured out that, my disabilities actually really match a person who probably could be like a surgeon, or as some might interpret, a psychopath, because you don't have any emotions. Like, you're not bothered by a lot of, things that other people find grotesque. And specifically, I remember being in a context, a slaughterhouse situation where animals, specifically cattle, were being, I guess, like, if you looked at it a negative way, they were being like murdered in front of our faces. I don't even know why I'm laughing, because I'm just like, I think that's a really harsh word. Like, they were literally at a slaughterhouse for the purpose of being, you know, turned into meat. And like, even now to this day, I sound very factual, but I guess I grew up in a hunting state. And so, like, if you're going to consume meat in particular, it's like it comes from some place. So just having the understanding of reality of how food is produced, even vegetables, right? Like having like manure or other pesticides like on top of it. I think that's important for people to understand that this is how food gets to the table. But either way, yeah, I think that's like a crummy thing that's happening in this part of my life, is that these more complex emotions that I'm not as well versed in yet are entering into my life. And in some ways it's like, it is what it is. It's gonna have to happen sometime. Um, but I don't realize how damaging it's going to be yet, because I just don't understand these emotions and how powerful they are, but they're happening. And I also think I'd have to double check. It could be the next quarter two. It could be year three, quarter two that this happens. But my grandfather passes away. I think it's this one though, because I was curious with my emotional deficit if I would be able to feel, like if I would be bothered by death. And I actually do think this is premature. I don't think he died yet. He died on basically my birthday, but I don't know if it was year two or year three that it happened. But either way, that was kind of hard for me to realize. Like, I was kind of proud of myself for developing my emotions, but I also was kind of suffering because it's a process to do that. And also because I'm blind to it, I don't even know how I feel. Like, I really have to work at it. So even now when I say I'm proud, I know what pride feels like. But at that time, I just don't even know. Isn't that crazy? There's so many things. I shouldn't say crazy, but there's so many things I didn't know. I'm literally guessing. So I just want to emphasize, I guess, maybe for the empowering thing today, even if you're really bad at something, like I was bad at determining emotions, I was becoming very strong in empathy, and my imagination and my creativity is becoming extremely strong because I have to keep like filling in the blanks. Like I have to keep guessing. Like my ability to guess is getting really strong because I'm learning how to use other cues. I'm becoming hyper observant. It's just, what kids are like, but it's just part of who I am. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting that I'm identifying my weaknesses and my brain is adapting. Like neuroplasticity is like happening in real time. So hopefully that's the empowering thing, is like even though these negative things are happening, like truly it is a lesson. And I guess that's just a reminder to everyone that even though it infuriates some people, I've literally had my brother yell at me like everything in life doesn't have to be a lesson. But it's like it doesn't have to be, but it's a pretty healthy way to, I guess, have a life. And sometimes you're just tired and you don't want any lessons. But I think that's something I learned how to do, is just conditioning my mind to just like be a little bit more resilient, to see a positive lining even though it wasn't positive and I didn't feel like it. Sorry, I'm like super tired. I had a 14-hour day today, so I need to go to sleep. But either way, thanks so much for tuning in and catch up later. Bye.